Whenever I'm feeling stuck or kind of in a rut, whether it's with racing or for me, because I've been running my business and everything and just been in that space since I was 15. So for the last 5, nearly 6 years, whenever I've gotten into a rut or I feel stuck, I like to use movies and music for to kind of get me out of it, and also just for endless motivation and discipline. And kind of here's how I approach that. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. By the way, if you like these videos and you want to join my online community or check out some of my digital products, the link to that is below in the description. But with that being said, by the way, it's kind of funny. I've gotten some messages from people who are like, I want to be on your show or whatever. And I'm like, I don't have a show. Like, this is not a podcast. This is not a show. It's literally just me talking to the camera for as long as I decide to about topics that I think that are important that hopefully help you out. So hopefully they do. But anyway, fully uncut. Anything that I say in here is going to end up on YouTube. So don't say anything stupid. But anyway, with that said, when I'm stuck in everything, I love watching specific movies and listening to music. Like, to give you an idea of how much freaking music I listen to, which comment below if you have me beat, because if you do, it will blow my mind. Spotify now does like that yearly recap thing, and literally my recap for 2023, it showed that I spent literally like, I think it was 47 days listening to music. So like in 2023, if you combined all of the amount of time that I listened to music together, it makes 47 days. That means I spent a month and a half listening to music last year. Like, that's crazy. So, and I'm probably off to an even like, I think I'm listening to it more this year, to be honest. But anyway, so I like to listen to music. Like, that really helps with my mood and stuff. Music, like NF, like I think he's pretty good. If you're feeling like really down, then I think NF is great. Or, listening to some like really upbeat, like happy music. And by the way, I think it's really good to make playlists and stuff. Like, I've got some playlists for all kinds of different things. And a friend a few years ago actually gave me the idea, and I ran with it, and I freaking love it. But basically, instead of having playlists that are like rock, country, whatever, it's playlists based off of how you're feeling. So like a playlist for when you're feeling kind of down, a playlist for when you're feeling pissed off. I literally have a playlist called Pissed Off, and I usually listen to that at the gym. I've got a playlist for. I've got a playlist for. Damn it! What was I just thinking? I've got a playlist for when I want to feel motivated. I've got a playlist for when I'm feeling kind of burnt out and kind of down. That one's specifically more for like business and work and stuff. Like, I put that one together with some music that I really love that kind of pumps me up for business and making money and stuff like that. So that one's really good for that. And then there was one in particular that I was trying to think of. There was the pissed off one, and then feeling happy. I literally that's one of the good ones. Is I've got one that's called feeling happy, and it's not necessarily for when I'm feeling happy and feeling super joyful and stuff. It's also for when I want to. It's also for when I'm not feeling so great and I want to feel that way. So I'll listen to that music, and that music usually kind of boosts my spirits and gets me into a good mood and everything like that. But if you can relate with me, sometimes you're kind of feeling down and you kind of want to lean into that feeling a little bit. So that's where I've got my I think I literally have a playlist called Want to Feel the Feels. So it's basically literally kind of more of a sadder playlist, but it's where I'm kind of feeling a little kind of shitty, but I kind of want to lean into it a little bit. Like, I don't even want to necessarily, it sounds so weird. I don't want to like, in the moment, I don't want to feel great, and I don't want to like try and feel happy. Like, I almost just want to feel these feelings. So I'll literally play that playlist, and it kind of just lets you vibe with it. It's almost like I feel bad, but I'm enjoying it, So I don't know. Maybe you can relate with me, or maybe I'm just crazy. But anyway, I think that's a really good like tactical thing you can do, is put together playlists based off of how you're feeling and stuff. And then there's that with music. But with movies, I really, really, I love movies. Like, I freaking love movies. Name a movie, and I almost guarantee I've seen it. Like, I am a movie freak. My whole family is, though. So I got it from them. But regardless, for like motivation, discipline, all that stuff, I've got numerous movies that I kind of almost have like as a list in my head that I can choose from if I'm maybe not feeling so motivated or whatever. And it might be just movies for when I'm just feeling down with like some personal things, like maybe relationship wise or something like that. And then I've got a movie, or if I'm not feeling very motivated with my business and stuff like that, then I've got a movie for that, which I'll mention here in a second. That's actually the movie I was just watching, not even because I was down, just because I wanted to watch it because I love it. But that movie, and then literally I've just got numerous movies for different scenarios, and they just allow me to really kind of reset the mind and everything. Like, I've got like some other movies that are just super inspiring and motivating for me is The Founder, which is the story of the guy who founded, or technically he didn't found it, but he created McDonald's and made it what it is today. And it's just really, really inspiring. So there's that one. There's Wolf of Wall Street. There's The Social Network. These are just like ones on my list. All the Creed movies, the Rocky movies, and then there's a bunch more. But anyway, the one that I was watching more recently, though, literally the last few nights, was Jerry Maguire. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's so freaking good. Go watch it. Like, it's older with Tom Cruise, but I promise you the oldness of it isn't going to bother you. Like, usually I'm not like totally down to watch old movies, but I love this movie. It's really good. But anyway, what I really love about that one, and when I like to watch it, is specifically like when I'm not feeling too great in terms of like business and stuff like that. Because what happens in the movie, and I might be wrong, I think it's based on a true story, I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong with that. I don't know if it is actually, but I think it is. But regardless of if it is or not, the story's good, where basically he's a sports agent and they're making all this money and stuff, or at least it appears that they are. And he's working at this firm or whatever, sports agency, whatever. And then, long story short, he gets fired from there. And then ends up like starting up his own thing, but all his clients left. So literally he goes from kind of killing it, doing well, to ground zero. Like, he's almost broke, has no money, and has basically no clients. He gets down to this one single client. That's it. So he's betting everything on this one client. But what I love about the movie so much is that this guy who went from having a decent bit and kind of just having everything he really needed, like great job. He was actually he was getting engaged, all this stuff, although she ended up being a psycho. So technically it's good that he didn't end up getting married with her. And it's also kind of a romantic movie because he ended up meeting this other chick that's way better. So anyway, that's not the point. The point is this guy who basically got just plowed down to ground zero with nothing. Like, he's got nothing except this one client and everything, and he's lost everything. He's got basically no money. He will not fucking stop. Like, he just keeps going and just keeps working and doing everything he possibly can in order to pick himself back up. And every time he gets knocked down, he gets picked up again. Like, a prime example is in the movie. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm gonna anyway because it's really important part of this video. Is one of the So basically, when he got fired and everything, he had this really big client, like this really big one, which when you're a sports agent, you're making a commission whenever your player or whatever gets signed to a team or something like that. Like, for example, if you have a football player and he gets signed on an NFL team, and obviously those deals are worth millions and millions of dollars, well, the sports agent gets a commission from that because obviously he's one of the biggest parts when it comes to actually getting that deal to come together and everything. So they could be making a lot of money. Now, he had this really, really big client and this big player who he basically flew out to meet with them and basically begged them to stay with him. Like, please stay with me. We've got a long-term relationship, all this stuff. And they ended up saying that they were going to stay with him. And he was on cloud nine. Like, he went from here to nothing to all of a sudden he was back to here because he had this big client all of a sudden. And he was like, sweet. And he's super pumped up and all this stuff. And then literally it comes to the night before the draft, which is like huge for for obviously that space, like literally his players about to get signed to a team or whatever, like that's huge. The night before, because they didn't sign a contract or anything when they agreed or whatever, and basically the player and stuff, that family said like, we're staying with you, Jerry. The night before the draft, Jerry finds out that the family ended up signing with his firm that fired him. Like the guy who fired him, they ended up signing with him instead. So Jerry literally lost his biggest client the night before the draft, the night before he could have gotten the big payout. Like lost it all and was back at just ground zero. Like that, like just going to there, just that ground zero. And then he just kept fighting and kept going. And he had this one other client that he just held on to. And he wasn't the biggest client. Like he had to really fight to get this guy to be able to really be anything and to be worth anything to him. But he just kept fighting and kept pushing through all of that and stuff. And that's just like really inspiring to me. So whenever I'm down, whenever I'm, not feeling it or I'm feeling stuck or not feeling motivated and stuff, I will use movies and music in order to really get myself going again and everything. Now, I think you could also do the opposite though. Like I think it's an important point to mention, and then I know I've been rambling a bit, so I'll end the video after this, but I think it's also important that you don't have the opposite thing happen to you where you actually watch movies or listen to music that does the opposite, where you're feeling great and then all of a sudden now you feel like shit because of the movie or whatever. Like you can very easily watch pretty negative movies or movies that, for example, is like a war movie that's got a lot of killing and then maybe ends off negatively or just a lot of negativity, and then that's in your mind. And especially when you go to bed, like if you watch a movie right before you go to bed and it's something like that, I'm not saying it's like bad to watch those movies and stuff. I'm just saying to be aware that when you go to bed, like that's what's going in your subconscious mind is all of that negativity and stuff. And then that usually affects the way that you're going to feel when you first wake up and everything, because that's what's been running in your subconscious the whole time you're sleeping. Like I've kind of learned a lot about sleeping and stuff. And that's one thing that I have heard, is be careful what you feed your mind like right before bed. So that's one thing. And then another thing is music. Like there is so much music, and I used to give my brother a lot of shit for this because he would listen to music and he wouldn't care about the lyrics. He would just care about how it sounded and all this stuff. But I always paid attention to the lyrics. Like I pay very close attention to the lyrics in music, and I will not listen to songs that are like super negative or saying crazy shit. Like for example, like rap or whatever, like there's so much rap that's talking about negative stuff like suicide and all these things. I will not listen to that because even if it sounds cool, like the song sounds cool and the beat is good and everything, those words are still getting into your mind and are still getting into your subconscious. And I can almost guarantee, I'm not a scientist here, but I can almost guarantee that will affect the way that you're thinking and the way your mind is operating and stuff when you're hearing all of that negativity going into your mind. So the music that I listen to, like I pay very close attention to the lyrics, and I want to make sure that the lyrics aren't like really that negative and that bad and stuff. Like I listen to music because I want to feel like good. Like earlier I said that if I'm feeling down, sometimes I'll kind of lean into it, but it's not like I'm listening to negative music talking about suicide and stuff like that. Like, no, like definitely not. Like I would never listen to that type of music. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on that too much. It's not like, it's kind of common sense, but it's basically just pay attention to what you're feeding your mind, like with movies and music and stuff, and don't feed it a bunch of negative things, and use that stuff to your advantage when you're not feeling so great and you almost need like a mental reset, and have kind of go-to playlists. Like to be honest, I'd recommend doing this where you set up playlists based on how you're feeling or how you want to feel, and then you can tap into those whenever you need to. But also have a list of movies that you can turn to, or even TV shows. Like I love watching Suits. Suits is another really good one that I find pretty inspiring. It's also funny and stuff, but it's motivational and everything. But regardless, just have like go-to things, and these are tools that you can use, even at races. Like most likely if you're watching this, you're a motocross racer, because that's most of my content. And to be honest, like before races and stuff, I love watching movies like Gran Turismo or Creed or what's another like racing one? Ford versus Ferrari is another good one. I actually love Speed Racer. Like, dude, if you don't like the movie Speed Racer, that movie's fire. That is a fire movie. That's a good one. But anyway, just overall, just have these at your disposal that you can use and stuff. But with that said, I'm gonna end the video at that. So this was a different type of video, but I just felt like making it. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. If it was, then subscribe for more stuff like this, and mostly motocross content, to be honest. And then aside from that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.